Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. As you may have noticed, this is my second attempt at this video. I tried it the first time on my laptop because I left my tripod at home and there was no sound. So what I've now done is propped my phone up in the laptop and hopefully we are back to normal now. The video tonight is about getting prepared for winter. And the reason that I think we should start thinking about that is one of the articles I read recently that says that the National Grid is, let me just get this up here, the National Grid is requesting permission to pump more gas to Europe to export more than a third of usual levels. Now, I have got no problem with that at all. Do you know, if they need it in Europe because of the problems with Ukraine and Russia, then absolutely quite happy to do that. What does worry me though is what's going to happen in the winter when we would normally import gas from Europe. Because at the moment, most of the countries in Europe are trying to fill their storage. Now they store 25 to 35% of annual demand. So that means if Russia cuts off the tap for gas, they've got 20 to 30 odd. Well, no, what is it? If 1% is 3 days, so 3 times 25 is 75. They've got like 75 days. They've got 2 months at least of gas supplies. The UK storage is 1%, which of course means it's 3.65 days, so less than 4 days. That's all the storage we've got for gas. Now, if we are, as we have been for the last few years, looking to import gas from Europe this winter, but they're struggling because of the slowdown of the gas supplies from Russia. It's running at what, 30-40% just now. So if we are trying to import, but they're struggling to get gas, who do you think is going to get it? Because we normally import from Norway. Now, Norway, although not a member of the EU, is linked to them through financial measures, through the single market or whatever it is. There's, do you know, all the other things with the other letters, but Norway is definitely very financially tied up with the EU. So if Germany or France and the EU are saying we need gas, and the UK is saying we need gas, who do you think Norway's going to sell to? And again, we have 1% of annual demand in storage capacity in the UK. That's all. Less than 4 days if we start running out of gas. Germany, France, Italy, they can store between 25 to 35% of their annual demand. So that's a couple of months. So if they can build up their storage, they're not too bad. Whereas in the UK, seemingly what we do every year is we export gas to the EU in the summer, and in the winter we turn the direction of the gas pipeline and we import for the winter. Here's hoping we manage to import this winter, or there could be some serious problems. So of course, once I had decided there could be some serious problems, I thought, what is the best way to try and save money on our energy bills? And one of the biggest costs throughout the winter, obviously for us in the UK, is our heating bill. And one of the ways one of the reasons our heating bill is so high is because of the rubbish insulation that we have in our properties. Our properties, especially the ones that were built anywhere before probably the late 80s, early 90s, have not got that great insulation. And you know yourself, there's many of us, we just haven't done anything about it. And if you're in a rented accommodation, there's not much you can do about it anyway, even if you own your own home. It costs thousands to upgrade your insulation. So most of us have not done it. So I thought, what is the best way to look at trying to keep the heat in this winter, trying to cut our bills, etc., etc. So I went looking and I have some ideas. So the first one is basically if you go to any of the DIY stores like B&Q, Wickes, whatever, any of them, they will have things like the plastic that you put over the windows and tape it over, and that will keep the cold air on the glass side and stop it being as cold inside your room. The other one is draft seal. Now, it definitely is worth your while having a look at your doors and your windows, because I know where my cat climbs in the window, you know, the little black thing. She has torn away most of the draft seal, so that will be getting redone in the next wee while. Now, I looked at that in B&Q and it was less than £5 for 6 metres. So that's probably one door, so your back or your front door, or a couple of windows. So that is definitely worth a go. Don't forget about your letterbox, because sitting in my house, I know if the wind comes from a certain direction, the letterbox rattles, the wind comes through. Just remember, whatever you put behind it, make sure the postman can still get the mail through the letterbox, because otherwise that could be a bit of a problem. The other thing is rugs. If you've got flooring where the cool air comes through the floor, get some rugs down. Even if you don't have rugs, get some blankets down. Get something down to stop the drafts. Get yourself some draft excluders. If you don't want to pay the money for them, start raking about your old clothes. Cut the leg off an old pair of tracky bottoms and fill it up with old t-shirts or something. Roll them up. Make yourself one of those sausage things to sit at the bottom of doors. Just try and stop those drafts as best you can. And the other thing, which is actually the first thing I thought of, but I had to see how logical I was, is years ago they would use tapestries on the walls. You know, these people with their multi-million-pound castles and stuffs. So they would have tapestries and they worked. So I'm like, well, how can we do that? And the biggest thing is, and we can certainly hang things from the wall, to especially external walls. There's no point in hanging them on internal walls, but on external walls that get cold, it might be worth your while looking at hanging something, especially if you're in a rented home. But the one thing you do not want to do is don't put anything directly against the wall, because that will stop any vapour evaporation or moisture evaporation, and you'll end up with mould and damp and horribleness. So don't put anything directly on the walls. Get a bit of batting, you know, the 2x1 bit of wood or something, stick that up right at the ceiling, and then hang, whether it's blankets, tapestries. Some people you can get, in charity shops, you can get some pretty quilts. See if you can, you know, patchwork quilts and things. See if you can get something like that. And if you hang that close to the wall, that should keep the cold in the wall side and the heat in your room. So yeah, that's my thing today. I also wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who commented after I said that I'd done 101 videos, and also, you know, everyone that's liked and subscribed. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. I finished my jam this morning at stupid o'clock, for which I was quite grateful because it got very hot. Did some tidying up and then came through to Patrick's to relax and went and had a nap. I was so tired. I obviously still do not work well in the heat. The sound effects you can hear at the back, they are the seagulls and the rain, because it's still warm here, so we have the windows open and we just had like a thunder and lightning storm. So there's probably flooding in the area because it was really heavy, really fast. So if you're getting that, I hope you don't get flooded, because that was some hefty rain within a very short space of time. So I hope you're having a good evening and you're all ready to get back into the swing of things in the week ahead. And I will leave you with that, and I'll catch you later.